On Thursday, I was asked by a bunch of people to give my thoughts on the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny trailer, and I came down here and recorded a video that turned out to be 52 minutes long. And while it was a passionate and wide-ranging bit of commentary, I didn't think you all deserved to be subjected to all of that. So instead, I thought I'd show it to you here and fast forward, and then just sum up. So to sum up, Indiana Jones as a franchise has been broken since 1989. If they wanted this series to continue properly, they should have recast the lead actor in the 90s with a new series of films. James Mangold is a very talented director, but he cannot save a franchise who took a pulp hero and made him a continuity character. It will not work. Harrison Ford is in his 80s, and while a stellar actor, he also cannot play a convincing action hero at this age. Also, the costume sucks. Also, I don't care. Guys, obviously, I'm just kidding. I really do care. Otherwise, I wouldn't have spoken for 52 minutes. But I knew that a lot of people wouldn't want to watch that. So if you do want to watch that full 52-minute discussion, then you can head over to Patreon. I'm not trying to bait anybody to go to Patreon. I'm just saying patrons usually care about that kind of content, while the mass audience really doesn't want to see it. So it'll be on Patreon. Thanks. Serialized adventure heroes. Whether you're talking about James Bond or Indiana Jones, Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, who has also been quickly established as a character both in the games and in the movies and in other mediums that is happily recast. Serialized characters traditionally have no continuity. When I say that, I mean that traditionally, each movie stands alone. Goldfinger, Thunderball, the only thing that really relates them is Spectre, kind of like the only thing that should have, tied some of the Indiana Jones films together was the Nazis. But the point is that each story stood alone. Each story was self-contained. And they can go on and on and on and on. That's the nature of those characters. Need I remind you how many actors have played Batman? Nobody sits around complaining, saying that Michael Keaton is the only Batman. Christian Bale is the only Batman. And if you know somebody who sits around saying Sean Connery's the only James Bond, you know that you hate that weirdo. They're obnoxious, and you know that it has no merit because Bond has continued to be successful. Last Crusade, both in front of the camera and behind the camera, had become family vacation time for Spielberg, Lucas, and all their friends. So now, in that film, that's when they decided Harrison and only Harrison forever. You can tell. It goes against the entire adventure genre. The whole point of it. The serialized pulp hero. Issue after issue after issue after issue of standalone adventures. In that way, Indiana Jones is not only not that different from James Bond or Batman, he's also not that different from characters like Conan. It's going to end forever with this one. How do you feel about that? If you love the character so much, and he's a serialized character, how can you say that he's different from James Bond? How is it that James Bond can be recast over and over again and Indiana Jones isn't valid in that respect? And I bet you it's because all of you have memories of Last Crusade. I bet you if Raiders and Temple of Doom were the only two films that had existed, you'd have been just fine with a recasting because the tone of those films is consistent with a serialized adventure hero. But for you guys to sit there and say, on both camps, oh, Indiana Jones can't be recast. Oh, James Bond can, and Batman, and Superman, and all these other characters that we can rattle off. Even Han Solo can be recast, apparently. But Indiana Jones, oh, that's a no-no. Why? The only way for this franchise to survive is for him to be recast. That's the only way it would work. And they haven't done it. 4 films? Okay, 5. We're about to have 5. We will have had 5 films in 42 years. 5 only. Do we really see that as Harrison Ford's life's work? Do we really see that as making it so prestigious that it is beyond the thought of recasting? I certainly don't. What I see is a franchise with a massive amount of untapped potential. Massive amount. An embarrassing amount of untapped potential. A neglected franchise.